Sorry about the no warning there, but I did that on purpose for emphasis. In this press conference, there was another giant piece of information that I glossed over that, to my mind now, completely, pardon the pun, blows the story out of the water that this happened at 1:30. It couldn't possibly, no reasonable person, no one who's ever been in the Navy now could ever listen to that, based on the evidence we have now, say that this happened at 1:30, and I'm going to let the Admiral speak for himself.
So the Japanese Coast Guard helped us a lot with their helicopters, and they were the first on the scene. We had to medevac.
What? The Japanese Coast Guard helicopters were the first on the scene as a result of the call made by the not by the Fitzgerald, the ACX Crystal to the Coast Guard. That's who they said they called and reported the incident to. And what makes that so unbelievable, now remember how loud that was. How unmistakable that was. Here is, generally speaking, the location of our incident down here. Here is Yokosuka, Japan, the home base of the Fitzgerald. It is roughly 62 miles away. They were 62 miles away, line of sight, to their home base. They've been struck on their starboard side by a 29,000-ton cargo ship, and they are taking on water. And by all accounts, at 2:06, we had a sailor below decks who was able to call his dad. You're telling me nobody aboard that ship had the ability at 1:30 to call, to contact their home port, to contact the Navy in any way, shape, or form? Yeah, okay, the communications room was down, but clearly we can establish that somehow that kid, 36 minutes later from below deck, allegedly, was able to get a phone call out. You're telling me nobody aboard that ship had the ability to contact the Navy? And here's another thing too, folks. Remember the story. The captain said they didn't know what they hit. They traveled 20 minutes down, then they turned back, and then they went back, and that's when they realized they hit the destroyer, and that's when they called the Coast Guard. Within moments after that collision, that general quarters alarm would have sounded. That's pretty damn unmistakable that they would have heard this from the minute distance they were away from that ship after they impacted it. They would have known immediately it was a Navy ship. And that everybody aboard, apparently, people have been trying to tell me, yeah, it's plausible. This kid could have made this call from below decks. Okay, so he could have done that. But nobody else aboard that ship at 1:30, none of the command crew, no one else had the ability to pick up any piece of electronic device whatsoever and make a phone call at 1:30. If this were really the case, if this is really what happened. That the first people on the scene was the Japanese Coast Guard up here. No one from this Navy base. They don't have any helicopters. They don't have any... I'm sorry. I don't want to be profane. But, folks, if you still believe this story, after all of these videos, after everything we've shown now, I don't know what more I can say. The idea now that this happened at 1:30 when the Navy spokesman said 3 times it was 2:20, 48 hours later, is just silly. I mean, my God, I'll say it again, 29,000-ton, 700-foot-long container ship slams into a 500-foot-long 7,000 ton destroyer, and I'm estimating there, I think that's about what it is. That was quite a bang. And if this is 60 miles, look how close they are to here. I mean, my goodness, Michael Phelps could have jumped in the water and swam over here and picked up a phone and called the Navy faster. I mean, really. Somebody could have maybe jumped off that destroyer. Maybe do they have a little tiny, life raft or a boat with a motor on it? They could have just right over here. Seriously? How can anybody believe this now? There's no way the story is remotely believable. That the first contact, and this goes back to my very first video, back on the 17th, that the first contact, the first knowledge anybody outside of the container crew or the Fitz crew had of this came from a phone call made by the crew of the container ship to the Japanese Coast Guard. The U.S. Navy got beaten to the punch on one of their billion-dollar destroyers getting thumped. And remember, at that time, nobody knew whether it was an accident or an act of war or an act of terror. But the Navy got beaten to the punch by the Japanese Coast Guard with the help of a Philippine crew. Baloney. Baloney. Not believable, not even remotely believable now, and not even, to my mind, debatable. So, anyway, shorter video, and at this point they're probably going to be. Because there's really nothing left to debate on this. We've covered everything from soup to nuts on this, and it is now, I think, to my mind, something that is probably known and well known behind the scenes. There was another article about the Japanese are getting fitted with missiles that they can fire on North Korea from 200 miles away. I wish I would have pulled that tab up here to cover it, but that would be going down a whole nother road. God bless those sailors, because they died as a result of an act of war, or at least of terrorism, one of the two. So, thank you, everyone, for coming to the videos. The polite, respectful discussion has been amazing, and a lot of the videos I have made after my first one have been as a result of the conversation I've had with you people. And that's what I want this channel to continually be. A forum where people can come and look at the topic and then speak about it and have a conversation about it. And that's what will make this channel successful. Not me. So anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.